Okay, so this won't be in the final part 2 video. I'm just gonna let you know what's happening. For those of you who are wondering what's happened to this thing, did you forget about it? Did you stop working on it? No, it's still here. I'm working on front suspension right now. This is gonna be like the hinge for the control arm, the upper control arm. This brass piece will be glued to the bottom of the upper front subframe bit there, and then can't do it with one hand, but the outer, well, I guess I could do it with one hand, actually spins. If you can see that, there's a hinge that runs through it, a little 2mm rod that runs through an 1/8 inch styrene tube, so it can act as a bit of a hinge for the upper control arm. And the upper control arm is going to be made out of 1/8 inch steel nails. I'm in the process of making and remaking some of them, because I'm really just learning as I'm going. You know, I tried bending these at first to get the right angle. It wasn't working all that well, because bending a small section of 1/8 inch steel nails is a bit hard. So I'm going to cut them and then re-angle them, if you can tell. And that's actually working a lot better. That's kind of a, bit of a prototype, I guess you could say. And then on the end of it, I'm going to be putting these from the original control arms that were from the little ATV there. So, yeah, that's that. The steering wheel, I painted it a little bit more. I also extended it by 1/4 inch. Also something kind of funny. The actual steering column itself is actually made out of cast aluminum. I didn't know that before. I don't know. I just thought I'd mention. Thought it'd just be interesting to say. The front subframe. Actually, let me show you the dashboard real quick. I got the dashboard temporarily glued in here just for gills and just see what it looks like. And it's looking really, really good. So there's that. I've weathered the top of it a little, just like the game. Made it look, a bit damaged almost, scratched. Yeah, I just have it glued on there temporarily. So, the front suspension, this is what I've got. So, I've also obviously painted the front shocks. Oh, that reminds me. Okay, so the front shocks on this thing are actually the rear shocks, because the rear shocks are longer, and I need the extra travel because it's going to have to clear the oil pan, and also it's like this in the game, where the bottom of the shock is just past the bottom of the subframe, and the front shocks were too short. So I swapped the shocks, but kept the spring locations, if that makes sense. Like, I have the hard springs on the small shocks in the rear, and then I have these soft springs on the long shocks in the front. So it's a bit weird, but it works. Made little shock mounts out of 1/8 inch brass tubing again. Glued it all on there. So, yeah, it's pretty cool, I guess. Let's see what else has happened. Not much. So, yeah, it's just to show you that I'm still working on it. So, sorry I'm taking so long. I'm really just trying to figure out front suspension maths and trying to make it work, because I want as many things to be both realistic to the game and real life as possible, and I'm really trying to get that perfect blend and make it work and make it look good, So, it's a bit of a challenge. So, yeah, that's what I've got so far. So, this will be glued there, pretty much on the bottom side of that there. So, You'll see. Anyways, just thought I'd show you. Yep. All right.